My 30F sister, 27F, didn't tell me her girlfriend, 33F, is trans. Now it's caused a family rift. My younger sister and I have always been very close, both growing up and as adults. Usually, we tell each other absolutely everything. I know everyone says that, but it's absolutely true in this case. For Christmas this past weekend, we grew up Russian Orthodox. Our parents invited my sister and her girlfriend over to the family dinner. They've only been together for a few months, but had a long talking stage, and my sister is smitten. This is a massive step for our parents because they had an extremely difficult time accepting that my sister is a lesbian. They refused to talk to her for 2 years. And when they did finally start talking to her again, they refused to acknowledge her sexuality at all. They never wanted to meet her ex-girlfriend for the 4 years they were together. They refused to acknowledge they were even dating even though they lived together. My sister hasn't been invited to any family events, dinners or parties for the past 8 years. Only for the Christmas celebrations, at which talking about her sexuality was strictly forbidden. So needless to say, her girlfriend not only being invited, but being acknowledged as her romantic partner is a massive deal. The dinner seemed to be going well. My parents seemed to be making an effort with her girlfriend. But throughout the night my mood started to drop a little and I was a little grumpy. When my sister's girlfriend asked me if I was okay at the table. My parents weren't at the table at this time. I assured her I'd be fine. I had just started my period, and I have a heavy flow and killer cramps. Looking back on it, she did look kind of uncomfortable, and my sister kind of tried to cut me off, but I didn't notice at the time. I ended by asking, "You know how it is. Do you ever get that?" And she kind of laughed it off a little uncomfortably and said, No, I don't really get that." I thought it was kind of weird, but I didn't say anything. Later, privately, her girlfriend told me she's a trans woman and doesn't get periods. I felt like such an idiot. I never would have talked about it if I had known. Perhaps this is ignorant of me, but she passes so incredibly well that I had assumed she was a cis woman. I also was hurt that my sister didn't trust me enough to tell me beforehand. She usually tells me everything later, after her girlfriend had left. I pulled my sister aside to tell her that while I like her girlfriend a lot, it really hurt my feelings that she didn't trust me enough to tell me. She told me that she does trust me. It's just that this particular thing wasn't hers to tell. We argued, and I guess our arguing got too loud because our parents came to tell us to cut it out. They overheard what we were arguing about. They barged in and started yelling homophobic and transphobic nonsense and kicked my sister out. I've tried explaining to them, but they're absolutely not having it. They won't talk to my sister. They've stopped talking to me for letting myself be dragged down. My sister won't talk to them, and she won't talk to me either because understandably, she feels betrayed. She won't answer my texts, calls, or let me in when I tried going to her place. Even her roommate has stopped taking my calls. I never intended any of this to happen. IDK what to do. TLDR. Our extremely conservative and religious Russian parents were finally starting to come around to my gay sister's sexuality, until I accidentally outed her girlfriend as trans. Now they're threatening to disown her, and no one is speaking to anyone, and my sister, who is my best friend, won't talk to me. I know I'm in the wrong here, and I don't know how to make the situation better. Edit to add. Just to be clear, I am aware I'm in the wrong here. That's not what I'm asking here. I always have and always will defend my sister against our parents. Always. If your parents disown your sister, perhaps it's time you go no contact with them. Give you sister time. Although you didn't mean to put her GF, you did, and your sister was right not to tell you. It isn't hers to tell, and you should understand that. She's now dealing with a lot of fallout and it may take time for her anger to subside. Although you didn't do it on purpose, you still did it. Hey, guess what? It's none of your business until her girlfriend tells you. It isn't your sister's place to tell you. But, also, your ignorant family is what caused the rift. You caused a rift in your family by outing your sister's girlfriend to your hateful parents. You need to profusely apologize and cut off your bigoted parents. But don't expect your sister and her girlfriend to forgive you anytime soon. I hope you realize that not only were you not entitled to her girlfriend's private information, you put her and your sister in danger by outing her like that. Trans people literally get murdered for that kind of thing. Your sister's girlfriend being trans is none of your business, actually. You're an asshole. I'm sorry, but WTF. You'd hurt because she won't tell you something which I'm assuming her girlfriend most likely asked her not to tell anyone, and she actually didn't out of respect. You just made this about yourself. Nobody owes you anything. If she didn't want to expose her girlfriend, she had the right to keep it a secret regardless of how close the two of you were. Now because of you, you no longer have a relationship with your sister, and essentially once again because of your action you've alienated your parents from your sister. Overall, this didn't need to happen if you didn't just keep quiet. Let's be clear, your title is wrong. You caused the rift in your family. You're responsible for everything that has happened, and the responsibility of mending this is on you. Your sister and her GF has every right not to tell you because it's their own privacy. No matter how close you and your sister might be, you should be able to respect the things they won't tell anyone, including you. You single-handedly destroyed your sister's relationship with your parents. Right now you can't do anything but give her space and time. She needs to talk to you. Defend your sister from your homophobic parents. Make your stand in supporting her and be ready to apologize sincerely when she's ready to talk and accept the possible consequences of your actions. Why do you feel so entitled to be informed about a stranger's genitals? Hey, in the warped minds of the parents, they're kinda getting what they wanted. My sister hasn't been invited to any family events, dinners or parties for the past 8 years. Only for the Christmas celebrations, at which talking about her sexuality was strictly forbidden. But you were fine with attending these events even though your sister was blackballed? Your sister, who's your best friend. That makes you just as bad as your parents. And she didn't owe you any information about her girlfriend. You're awfully entitled. And then to argue loudly at your parents' house to the point where your parents overheard. What the heck were you thinking? I hope your sister forgives you someday. But if she never does, it would be understandable. Oof. You messed up. Mind your own business next time and stuff like this won't happen. Sue. You think your sister owes you information about everyone around her. You get in sour moods and make others uncomfortable because you have no self-control. You tell someone you just met about your periods. Your family is homophobic and you think it's amazing your sister and partner isn't being treated horribly. Like you think your family deserves a cookie? I also was hurt that my sister didn't trust me enough to tell me beforehand. Self-centered much? It's not your business. While I like her girlfriend a lot, it really hurt my feelings that she didn't trust me enough to tell me. It's not your business. It's just that this particular thing wasn't hers to tell. 100% correct. We argued. Why? Why do you feel so entitled to everyone else's life? I guess our arguing got too loud because our parents came to tell us to cut it out. They overheard what we were arguing about, which is entirely your fault. They barged in and started yelling homophobic and transphobic nonsense and kicked my sister out. Gee, I wonder why she didn't tell any of y'all. You're absolutely brain dead. I never intended any of this to happen. Then you wouldn't have started a fight. You absolutely did intend the actions that you knew could end this way. When you speak, you know people can hear you. You were in their house. Yes. That means you intended actions that you knew could have these outcomes. You risked it. You caused all this. Of course she doesn't tell you everything if you'll fight about things that aren't your business. Of course she won't tell you things when you can't keep your mouth shut. Of course she doesn't trust you with someone else's information. How do you fix this? You don't. This is something you don't come back from. You valued winning an argument over having a relationship with your sister. And you lost your sister. 1. Your sister doesn't have to tell you these things. It is private information that is not owed to you. 2. Stand up for your sis against your parents. 3. You caused this, and I bet you purposely got noisy so your parents would overhear. 4. Apologize to your sister and keep your nose out. Honestly, your sister would be better off just separating from your parents entirely and taking a break from you. As for what you can do, leave her alone for a bit, and in maybe a couple of weeks just message her that when she is ready, you would like to apologize for how things went down. It's not a secret to not immediately share up front whether your partner has a menstrual cycle or not. Trans people are allowed to just exist without having to come out to every new person they meet. Just like cis people don't have to come out every time they meet someone new. Yet you felt entitled to know about your sister's partner's genitals, which was already a sensitive topic in that household. Enough to yell at her loud for the attention of the whole house on you. You are an entitled and insensitive asshole. I'd have more advice for your poor sister than you in your pathetic, self-centered story. She told me that she does trust me. It's just that this particular thing wasn't hers to tell. This right here. You never out someone. EVER. You are in the wrong. Why are you entitled to know if your sister's GF was trans or not? You're not. She's a woman. Who the hell cares if she used to pass as male? That's on you. You're not entitled to someone's sexuality. You're not affected by it, so why would you think it's something you should know? Are you sleeping with her GF? No, then butt out. You caused this. You. Not your parents, but you. I assured her I'd be fine. I had just started my period. And I have a heavy flow and killer cramps. Why would you say this at dinner? But throughout the night my mood started to drop a little and I was a little grumpy. Why? I ended by asking, you know how it is. Do you ever get that? Quote, inappropriate as hell. I never would have talked about it if I had known. You shouldn't be talking about your period at the dinner table anyway. Dinner table is for pleasant causal conversation about the weather and what is going on at school. I also was hurt that my sister didn't trust me enough to tell me beforehand. You are 30 years old. Are you still that incapable of thinking of other people? It wasn't her secret to share. She told me that she does trust me. It's just that this particular thing wasn't hers to tell. Exactly. We argued. No. You started an argument because you couldn't accept that your sister was keeping someone else's secret from you. Literally anyone else would have heard, it's not my secret to tell, and gone, oh, you know what? You're absolutely right, I'm sorry. So the only rational course of thought here is that you started an argument with your sister. Because you are far too nosy for your own good. I never intended any of this to happen. IDK what to do? Well, you've already apologized, so that's a start. Now you cut your bigoted family off. And then you find a therapist who can help you work on being less self-centered and think more about the other people in your life. And leave your sister alone until she comes to you and is ready to talk to you again. You betrayed her in the most personal way possible short of actually sleeping with her girlfriend. That's not something that she can just get over. Wow, so why do you feel entitled to know what genitals someone was born with? Info. Why do you need to know what genitals your sister's partner was born with, and how is it a breach of trust for her to not tell you? She obviously can't trust you not to blow up and out her partner to your bigoted parents, who you need to stop indulging immediately and cut ties with. You are 30 years old and you made a huge scene and outed a trans person to homophobes because you were upset that you weren't in on the secret. Do better. You, dear miss, is really entitled. It was def not your sister's tale to tell the GF is trans. It's the GF's decision who get to know. And as I understand it, they fear reactions like the one your family gave her, them. So they make that decision based on their feeling of trust and security. So it really isn't your sister's thing to tell you, but the GF decision and tale and secret. And you still seeing your homophobic parents really is an issue for them. Yes, you might not treat them bad, sister and GF, but you don't fight for them either by cutting contact with your parents, meaning they don't really care where you stand with them or your sister. Give it some time, and in a few weeks write them an email telling them how sorry you are for 1, your insistence that sister should have told you, 2, your part in exposing the GF to your parents, and 3, for not standing up for sister better.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Haircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.